Hello, Human Collective. Welcome to the Upside to Grief. My name is Story, and I am your host. And this week we are welcoming on Naniece to the
Hi,
podcast. Welcome.
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm really excited to share space with you and listen to what you have to say and share.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Um, who are we going to be talking about today?
So, we're going to be talking about my uncle and his two kids.
Okay.
Their names were Maurilio, Marco Antonio, and Maria Angelica Jaimes.
Okay.
Yeah, they passed away June 26, 2012.
Okay. And who were they?
So, my uncle Maurilio, he's my mom's younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
He was in my life since I was a kid. I didn't always know my mom, but he was always around my dad. So, he was like a second father to me.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, at some point, he tried to adopt me when I was in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's somebody very special in my life.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be very close for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's also the person that introduced me to music.
Okay.
He was a very well-known DJ here in San Diego. He had taught me how to play the piano and how to use his DJ and just how to love and enjoy music.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, and then my cousins, well, though they were his two kids, he actually had another daughter who also passed away. That was when I was 12. But his son and daughter, Angelica and Tony,
Mm-hmm.
they were like the clowns of the family.
Mm-hmm.
They were the party people. Obviously, my uncle was a DJ, so they were always at parties and stuff, but they just brought so much life to our family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. And you guys all were in San Diego growing up?
Yes.
What is so your cousins, what's the age gap there?
So, they were about, I would say, no more than 10 years younger than me.
Okay.
Tony, I would call him my little big cousin because he was younger than me, but he was way taller than me.
Okay.
Yeah. He was and then Angelica too, she was they were just beautiful souls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they were not that much younger, but they were younger.
Yeah. And you said this happened in 2012,
Yes.
right? So kind of a while. So how old were you
I
when
was
all of this happened?
like in my early 20s.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were
16 and 11.
okay.
So they were old enough.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what happened?
So from I don't think we'll ever get the full truth, but what we were told is that my uncle took the lives of my cousins while they were asleep, and then he took his own life. There was rumors circulating that him and his ex-wife, which was my aunt, were separating, and I guess he tried reaching out to everybody, and nobody answered their phones, and it was just a lot of weird stuff happening. He
Mm-hmm.
said, she said, and it took the cops 2 days to find a suicide note in a car they had already searched. It just didn't make any sense. So I think everybody tried to put a story in their own head to just put peace to their
Mm-hmm.
hearts, you know? But to me, it was, I don't think, I don't think my uncle was capable of doing that because he was such a great father and he loved his kids. And it just, the scene did not make any
It
sense.
seems like super out of character
Definitely.
and out of like, I mean, for somebody who's like the life of the family party and stuff like that, that seems out of place.
Exactly. It didn't make any sense.
And so his ex-wife, they were together at the time when it happened,
I guess they
or
were
they were in
separating.
the middle
Of
of
separating.
separating,
Yeah.
but they all lived together at
So
that time, the four of them?
no, so he was in the process of moving out. He was actually staying at my mom's house.
Okay.
Yeah. So it kind of hit my mom and my younger siblings a lot harder because they were living there as
Yeah.
well. And
Because you had moved out at this point.
Yeah, I moved out when I was 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was staying with my mom in the process that he was separating from her. And the thing about it is that he was selling a lot of his furniture, and he
Mm-hmm.
had sold me like an entertainment center,
Mm-hmm.
and I had given him half of it, and I was supposed to give him the other half the day that it happened. So, you know, he would come to my house. He would come to where I was staying at for like 4 weeks. He was coming over. I thought he was just coming over to hang out with my in law because he was also a DJ. So I thought
Mm-hmm.
they were just sharing equipment or music or whatever. Come to find out that the gun he purchased for my father in law. So it made everything even more weird.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I didn't know, but I don't know. It's weird because 4 days before it happened, I just started feeling weird around my uncle. Like I felt angry at him and I didn't understand why. And usually, whenever my uncle comes around, I'm excited. I want to go give him a
Mm-hmm.
hug. And the guy I was with at the time, he was like, "Hey, don't be rude. Go say bye to your uncle." And I was like, "Nah, I'll talk to him later." And
The day that he had come over when you thought he was sharing music?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So he would come once a week for 4 weeks before he passed.
Okay.
And I thought it was normal, like getting equipment because they would,
Yeah.
they're DJs. But I never thought it was because he purchased a gun for
Yeah.
him until we found out that's where he got it.
And so then you didn't say bye that time.
No, the very last time that I said goodbye to him was about 3 days after it happened. He came, and I never knew it was going to be the last time I said goodbye to my cousin either. We were standing outside, and even though I still felt mad at him, I don't know why, something told me go give him a hug. So I was like, all right, bye, Theo. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Or no, I told him I'm gonna see you in a couple of days so I can give you the rest of the money for the entertainment center, right? And he's like, all right. So he hugged me really tight, and it just something felt weird. And then with my cousin too, it was his first time carrying one of my kids. He was always afraid of holding babies,
Mm-hmm.
and he held on to my son Jason, who was like 4 months at the time, and he just gave him this cute little hug and hugged him like cute little
Mm-hmm.
caress or whatever. And that was the last time I saw the both of them alive. Um, my cousin Angelica, I hadn't seen her like 2 weeks prior to that, but I knew they were okay. They're at my mom's house, and we occasionally saw them when they had parties or whatever.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so your uncle was staying at your mom's, but the kids were staying at your mom's too?
yeah,
So all three of them were at your mom's house.
yes.
Okay. So where did it happen then?
It happened in a hotel
Okay.
in
Because
National
their
City.
house was no more. The house the four of them used to live in together was non existent anymore because they had been going through the separation.
The apartment was still there. They were still moving stuff out of it. I don't know where she was staying at, but he was staying with my mom and they were moving things out. But apparently, where it happened was in a hotel in National City.
Okay.
It was called, what is it called? Paradise Hotel.
Okay.
Weird name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you find out?
So I remember waking up that morning. It was around 9 a.m. and I put on, the TV. You could put music videos on,
Mm-hmm.
and the song Titanium had just came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's ironic because of the song that was playing, Bulletproof and whatnot. And then my phone rings and it's my mom. And she's like, I need you to come to my house immediately and just come by yourself. Don't bring the kids. And I said, okay. So then I hung up with her and I start driving down there. I live in Logan at the time
Mm-hmm.
and she lives in National City.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm driving down there, I actually drive past the hotel and I saw a bunch of commotion happening. And something in my heart told me it was my cousin and my uncle. And in my head, I'm over here praying, like, God, whatever it is, just let it be something that our family can get through. Cause I know my uncle has a motorcycle. So I'm like, he might have gotten into a motorcycle accident or a car accident or something. So I'm trying to bribe God over here on my way to my mom's house. And sure enough, when I get there, half of my family's already there crying.
Oh shit.
And the only person that I didn't see there was my brother and my uncle and my grandparents. So we had just found out my grandma had cancer about a week ago before that. So I was like, what's going on? Where's my grandparents? Where's Israel?
Yeah.
Where's my brother? And like, nobody's telling me anything. And then finally, my sister, she drops down to her knees and just screams. She's like, they're dead. And I was like, who's dead? And she's like, I'm sorry, it's just, she said, Tonya and Angelica are dead. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, he killed them. I was like, who did? And she's like, my uncle did. And I was like, you're lying. What happened? Did they get in a car accident or what? And she's like, he shot them in their sleep. And I just didn't want to believe her. So I get out of my mom's house. Went outside, start calling him on his cell phone, and he's not answering my call. And then my uncle, the youngest one, follows me and he's like telling me to calm down. And he's like, it's true, it's true. And I was like, no, you guys are lying. I didn't want to accept it, you know? And at this point, we had already walked around the corner of my mom's house. And then they're like, oh, he's here, which is my brother. And then I walk back to my mom's house and they tell my brother the news. And when I saw my brother break down, that's when I started to like process, like, okay, this is really happening. Like, this is real. And so it was just so much happening and a lot of thoughts in my head, but I'm still there calling my uncle's phone, like, come on, like, hoping he'll answer. And they told us that we all had to go to the police department. And I was like, what's happening? So we all drove, the whole family, and we drove to the National City Police Department. As soon as we got there, my uncle's ex partner, my aunt, she was there with her family, but they didn't even, I ran to her
Mm-hmm.
and everybody held me back. They didn't let me touch her. They didn't let me run to
Her
her.
family or your family held you back?
The police,
Oh, the police held you
they,
back.
they separated us. They divided
What?
us, her family and ours. And we were like, what is happening? Like, we just all lost people here. Like,
Yeah.
that's our family too. And they just turned their backs on us. Like, we did something wrong. And it didn't make any sense to me because just like my uncle was like my father to me, she was like a second mom to me, you know? And for her not to even acknowledge my existence, it really hurt, you know? So we're there at the police station. They have us in this big old conference room, her family on that side, our family on this side, and they're just pulling us one at a time to start questioning us. And that's when they start, telling stories about what had happened. And everybody was saying, like, all my uncles and aunts were saying that how they all had missed calls from my uncle the night prior, and they were all like, I should have answered, I should have answered. And I'm still like trying to process what's going on. And literally, the hotel is a block away from
From the
the
police
police
station.
station. Yes. And we ran down there and it was packed, news people everywhere. Like, it was crazy. And they pulled us all one by one and they started questioning us. But for me, it got harder because they already knew my uncle had purchased the gun from where, and my address came up. And they're like, did you know?
They already knew that?
Yeah.
By the time you went in the room, they told you that or
Mm-hmm.
what?
Yeah, they were interrogating me, and I was like, I just found out my uncle died. Like, what's happening? Am I under arrest? Like, did I do something wrong? And they're like, I need you to give me the guy's name. And what are you even talking about? Like, there's no weapons there. Like, I didn't even know until they told me.
Yeah.
It caused so much problems for me with my in-laws because they thought I snitched him out. And I was like, first of all, they told me you sold my uncle the gun. Like, what are you doing with the gun in the first place, you know? But yeah, after they were interrogating us a lot, finally when they let me out, my grandparents get there. And I think that was like one of the hardest things to watch was my grandparents finding out. Like I said, my grandmother had just been diagnosed with cancer. So when they sat her down and they told her what had happened, they had to call
Because
an
that's her
ambulance.
son,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the son she was closest to. Um, yeah, she got really sick and they had to call an ambulance. And my grandfather wanted to look like he looked like he was about to fall apart, but he stayed very strong and he was so mad. He's like, why did he have to do this? Why did he have to take the kids? Like, I know a lot of people were just angry the most because of my cousins, you know?
Yeah.
And that was one of the hardest things I had to watch because my whole family's falling apart. My mom, my sister, my older brother, my uncles, my aunts. And the only two people that I noticed throughout this whole time that didn't break down or cry was my younger brother and my grandpa. Like, to this day, my little brother, he's a strong person.
How old was your little brother at the time?
I think he was like, I think he was like maybe 10 or 11.
That's pretty young.
Yeah, and he was living with them. He shared the
Yeah.
same space with them, and they were just so close, and I know it hit him the hardest as well because he was living there, but he never showed that. He was a strong one. Him and my grandfather were. But after all that happened, they had like lighting vigils or whatever. So I decided to go to one of them, which was at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where things started to not make sense to me. Like I kicked everybody out. It was a bunch of kids just for social media trying to take pictures, and I'm like,
Oh.
this is disrespectful. Somebody's family just passed, and you guys are just trying to post pictures on media with blood and this and that. I told everybody to leave, and then I went to go ask the hotel owners if I could have some time alone there, and they said it was fine. And the guy was like, I'm really sorry for your loss. We didn't know kids were involved because when your uncle checked in, he came in with another person, like a man. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we didn't know about the kids until we heard it on the news. And I was like, wow, okay.
How could you know? How could they not know?
When he checked in with another man. So they didn't even know that the kids were there when he checked in.
And the cops never got brought up, or what?
Like I said, that there's a lot of shady stuff that happened there. I feel like a lot of the way they handled the death, I don't feel like it was investigated enough. And I feel like my family didn't try their hardest because of their status.
Like they kind of question everybody, hit a bunch of dead ends, and then
Mm,
didn't keep going type of situation, or what do you mean?
I don't think they wanted to deal with the cops
Oh, you don't think your family wanted to deal with the cops?
because of their status. So they were a lot of my family is undocumented at the time.
Got it.
So it's like it made me angry because I feel like they could have gotten more answers, but because they didn't know they could or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, but that's what the hotel owner told me, and so I went in there after he told me it was okay to go in, and
Like in the room.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't make any sense to me. It did not make any sense to me because that did not look like somebody shot somebody in their sleep and then took their own life. It looked like somebody in there like struggled and had a fight.
So when you went in, can you walk me through that experience for you?
So pretend I'm walking in through that door. There was blood splatter all over the window and the curtains. And there was a mirror with a desk and a chair. There was a bunch of blood here. Again, like somebody was fighting, like hands, fist, where my uncle's body was found.
It looked like a struggle.
Like struggle, exactly. And then in the bathroom, like if they just wiped their hands, left a rag there, and then on the floor where my uncle's body was found, that's the puddle of his blood. They took out the mattress where my cousin's bodies were at. However, the headboard was full of dust, no blood splatter, no brain matter, nothing. So I'm like, where's where's the rest of the, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it didn't make any sense to me. And then, those walls are thin. The people
Mm-hmm.
that were next door, they're like, we didn't hear no gunshots. And the type of gun, I don't know anything about guns, but based on the description of the gun, it's a loud gun and it would have blown your face off. So I'm like, this is not making sense to me. And then not only that, but my cousin, he had Facebook, and the night before he passed away, his last post was Marco Jaimes is now dead. The night before he passed away.
Mm.
And we're like, why would he post that, or who posted that? You know what I mean? It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. And then they had already like searched everything, their house, the apartment that they were moving out of. They didn't find anything. They had already searched his vehicle that was parked outside the hotel. And 2 days later, they look again, and in the
Then
glove
they
compartment, they
say
find a suicide note. That doesn't make any
that's a
sense.
stretch, I feel like.
Yeah, it's it didn't make any sense. At least to me, it didn't. Like, and then obviously, I feel like it had a lot to do with money. My uncle had his assets and his DJ and everything. She kept everything, And then my mom was the one that was doing the most investigating, and she was bringing all this to the detectives, and they weren't really doing anything about it. Again, I don't know why. It turns out that all the money that was given to my ex aunt, she was always posting that they were at parties, they were like blowing all the money, going to the casinos and stuff. And so my mom was like, "Does this look like somebody who's grieving to you? She just lost her two kids. She's just lost the person she was with for almost like 25 years." And I was like, "No, it doesn't look like she's grieving, you know?" And somebody had, or she had, the woman had posted on her thing, and she said, "We succeeded. We won." It was like a cryptic message. Like, what is that supposed to mean? What did you succeed at? You know, and then blowing all that money that you got because my uncle passed.
Yeah.
So,
And you
yeah,
guys aren't in contact with them anymore?
no, not anymore. I went off on her. I did. I sent her a message. And then I apologized when I came to my senses, and I was like, maybe that wasn't really nice of me to say. It took me like 5 years to later on reach out and apologize because I'm like, you know what? She lost her kids. You know, maybe it's not what I think it is. And then she had a kid. So turns out she was pregnant right after we found out my cousins and my uncle passed. She was pregnant, and I don't know if that was my uncle's baby or not.
Hmm.
So, and I asked her, "Is that my cousin? If that's the only thing we have left of my uncle, can we at least see him?" And she's like, "No, it's not his. It's not his. He kind of looks like my 14-year-old son." So I don't know. It's a weird it's a weird thing to deal with because we don't know the truth, you
Yeah.
know. We're told one thing, but we believe and feel another.
Yeah. That's rough. I mean, not that you ever get like any kind of full closure or anything, but it just seems like, I mean, you guys didn't get much of any type
Yeah.
of closure and a lot of open ended questions still.
Yeah, they did a one autopsy on my uncle, and they did say that he had like a crack to his skull. And when I saw him at the altar of the viewing, like he looked all bruised, like beat up. And I was like, this doesn't like look this doesn't make sense. But then when they were gonna ask for a second autopsy, one of my uncles decided to have him cremated. And I was so pissed. I was like, what? Like, it just made me so mad because I feel like our generation, the younger ones, we didn't really get to have a say, you know?
And what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we could have definitely fought a lot harder for him, but they just didn't let us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, still being in your early 20s, too, that's still young. You know what I mean? It's hard to know what to do in those situations. And then, you know,
Yeah, I definitely spiraled out. My life really like took a toll after that happened. Like,
spiraled afterwards.
yeah, I made very compulsive decisions and it was all bad. I strayed away from my faith, started drinking heavily. I was just trying to find any way to feel anything but the grief that I was feeling because it
Mm-hmm.
it hurt too much, especially after going in the hotel. Like I had nightmares for 5 years. Every day the same nightmare. And it's like walking in there but actually seeing from their eyes what was happening and my uncle just like telling me pointing at something. And I'm like, what are you trying to show me? What is it? What is it? Every night for 5 years. And it just sucked because I just wanted it to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it took a while. Like, I can talk about it a little bit better now without crying, but it was hard because it was so public.
Yeah.
The viewing from my cousins, oh my gosh, like, there was thousands of people there. And the news people were there too. And there was like no privacy, no like I I didn't even get to enjoy like the viewing, like the you know, getting to say goodbye to them. You know, it was more like, okay, you don't take any pictures, go that way. You know what I mean? Like I felt like a security guard.
Yeah.
And people that we didn't even know because they were really popular too. He was a popular kid in high school and all the parties they DJ'd at, so he had a lot of friends. And then my uncle's viewing, that one was the hardest. I didn't even make it all the way to the end. I had to be escorted out because it was too much for me. Like, I wanted to believe, like, okay, it's not them. This is all a lie. I don't know, whatever. And when I saw my cousins, I knew it was them, you know? They looked peaceful. They looked like they were asleep. But then when I saw my uncle, when I was walking up halfway, I just took a look at his hands and I knew it was him. I couldn't even try to make anything up like, oh, that's not him. I knew it was him just by looking at his hands and he had his leather jacket on. I broke down right there in the middle of walking up to him, and my brother, my little brother, he walked me out and helped me calm down. And every time I tried to make it up there, I couldn't. I just couldn't say goodbye to him. And I hate it and I kind of regret that I didn't stay all the way to the end, but I just physically and spiritually could not say goodbye to my uncle. It was I just felt like it wasn't time.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I said goodbye to him maybe like 5 years ago. You know, it took me that long to finally process it and accept it. And that was a long time.
And so when you say you did that 5 years ago, so that would put us at like 2020, 2021,
Hmm.
right? And this happened in 2012.
Yeah.
So there's a pretty big gap of time in between there. When you say that, what does that look like for you? Like, what did you do?
In between all that time.
No. What 5 years ago when you said you did say goodbye? Like, how did you do that? Like,
So it happened the year that my grandfather died
mm-hmm.
because I knew that if I didn't accept the deaths the way, because from when my grandfather died, we celebrated his life.
Okay. And
Because,
this was 5 years ago.
yes.
Okay.
And we celebrated his life because he did so much good, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
and I had to put it in that perspective. Like, it's sad and it's hurtful the way my uncle left this world. It hurt all of us, a lot of people, even people that aren't in our family, you know. So I had to like remember him in a way that was good instead of hurting. So just when my grandfather left, they were both two most important men in my life, including my older brother,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and that scares me too. Like my older brother, I like that's the last person I have left. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, the year my grandfather died, I knew that if I didn't process it and accept it, my life would spiral a lot down worse than it was because I was the early part of my recovery as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I decided to get clean.
So do you almost think your grandfather's passing was, or your grandfather's passing was kind of like a wake up call in a sense on how to live with your grief
Um,
or get closure to it or incorporate it into your life, or like what is it to you?
I always say that my grandfather was the ultimate sacrifice to me getting better mentally and physically because, you know, I was an addict. Um, I've dealt with a lot of trauma, so I've self medicated for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So when my uncle died, that was the worst part of it. And when my grandfather died, it was like I, when I found out he was dying, I had relapsed. But then I was like, I thought about when my uncle died and how bad my life,
How bad it got.
yeah. And I was like, you only have your grandfather maybe a day, maybe 2 days, maybe a week. Is this really how you want to go down that road again? Or do you want to like, you have to like thug it out? You have to stay sober and you have to go through it. And I did. It was the hardest thing to ever do. And I remembered because the last moments that I saw my uncle, I felt angry because I feel like my spirit knew he was leaving, but I couldn't understand why I was so upset at him.
Mm-hmm.
So this time around, I knew that my grandfather was going to leave.
You felt it.
I felt, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
And
this
it wasn't
time,
like in your bones. You were
yeah,
like, I have to do this. Like, this
yeah.
isn't a choice.
And it was hard
Yeah.
when I didn't have a chance with my uncle because that happened. Like nobody planned that. But with my grandpa, I knew it was happening. So it's like just remembering back with my uncle, I was like, I don't want to go through this again. Like, I'm going to get lost and I'm probably not going to come back from this, you know? And yeah, it sucked because losing my grandfather, I think, hurt as much as my uncle, but it didn't grieve as bad. I don't think I have grieved my grandfather's death yet, actually.
Well, and I think thing too is that not necessarily to compare our griefs of, like as bad or as intense or because every relationship we have is different. So anytime somebody is removed from that equation, whether that's by death or divorce or moving away, whatever, grief, they're all different.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's like a way for us to compare them, you know. But I mean, like, I get what you're saying though, right? Like, I mean, there are things in my life where I'm like, this one really, this shit fucked me up. Like, this
Yeah.
one was fine, but I'm like, I try not to like
Yeah.
measure
Yeah.
them because they're all independent from each other, if that makes sense.
I just didn't want to go down the same path.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You were
Yeah.
like, okay, we need to do something.
Two most important men in my life, and the first one messed me up bad. So I knew for the second one I had to brace myself and prepare myself. Yeah.
And you said you don't feel like you've processed it yet?
My uncles or my grandfathers?
Your grandfather's.
I haven't. It's I think it's because of I'm going on 5 years clean. So it's like still learning how to process emotion. Usually, if I'm angry, if I'm mad, if I'm sad, I'm gonna go get high real quick. I don't ever know what it was to feel anything. So sobering up the same month my grandfather passed, because my clean date's August 13th and he passed 10 days after. It's new, and I cry a lot too. But I've only cried like 3 or 4 times, but it's I feel like I'm doing exactly what he wanted me to do. That's how I feel like I'm kind of grieving him, because he migrated over here to the U.S. for our family to have a better life, and I think that's why I push myself so hard when it comes to school and working and accomplishing goals, because this is what my grandfather wanted for us.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is just my way of grieving him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like having him live through you intentionally.
Yeah.
With like your actions and your choices.
Yeah, and I know that like towards the end he lived his life, and he was happy where I was at. Like he knew he was dying when he told me. He told me like around May, and he passed in August. So he already told me, and that's when I had introduced him to my now husband, and he's like, I know you're in good hands. Your uncle and I are proud. Like that was their biggest worry, is that because they know I'm a handful, and they know like yeah, they know I'm a handful. They know my temper. They know my attitudes, my behavior, and they're just like they were always worried, and they've known my past relationships, so they were just always worried that I would fall into the wrong hands again, or another bad cycle. And he met my now husband, and it's crazy because the last time we went to go see my grandpa at the hospital, he didn't recognize me. He thought I was my daughter, and but he recognized my husband, and I was like, all right, I'll take that. That's cool. So I think that's why I don't really grieve him, and I just feel his energy around all the time, So it's just not a sad grieving.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was, his end of time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just different, right? And I think that goes to say like not all grieving is sad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sad stuff, but it's so much more than that, you know?
It's just not as traumatizing. Yeah.
Yeah, that. I mean, going through all of that with your whole family, that's super traumatizing.
Absolutely.
On so many different levels.
Yeah, it divided the whole family, because my uncle was the one that kept
He was
everybody.
like the glue.
Yeah, he was like everybody's favorite. My favorite uncle, the favorite son, the favorite brother, the kids too. Like
and so then for something that drastic to happen, it's like
a whole branch of our family tree was taken
fucking
off.
explosion.
Yeah. And then dealing with my grandmother's cancer too. So it all happened that same year, and I knew that with this event happening that she wouldn't have the strength to fight her cancer. So she only survived like 2 years after that.
Mm.
Yeah, she just gave up her will. That was her favorite kid, to be honest. Yeah. And she had him. She had him in her house for the time she was there because they had him cremated, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then they finally put him at the cemetery. Well, both my grandparents and my uncle are in the same cemetery now, but it took a while to get them all there. Yeah. And it's weird too because on my cousin's gravestone,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't even put their last name. They put the woman's last name. That's how petty they were. Their family. Yeah.
But that's not their name.
I was like, who's, why would they do that?
Oh.
And I was, it's all right. We all know they're going to be Jaimes
Yeah.
to the end,
Mm-hmm.
which was also like ironic because the kids wanted to stay with my mom. They didn't want to,
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to be with their dad.
Yeah.
They didn't want to be with their mom. So I guess their story speaks loudly as well.
Yeah.
They were all good though. Always laughing, always dancing, music, and partying. Same with my uncle. He had such a beautiful voice. He always had a tendency to. My family has a thing to sing karaoke every time they have like family getting-togethers, and my
Mm-hmm.
uncle had the most beautiful voice.
Do you remember what he would sing?
Like Mexican music mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know like there's a group called Conjunto Primavera.
Okay.
There's a guy, the main guy who sings sounds exactly like my uncle. So I know that there's times whenever, like, let me tell you, like when he passed away, I could not listen to any kind of music.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's probably certain songs that come on then where you're like
No, I could not listen to any music.
anything.
Nope, nothing. It would make me so. I connected with music with my uncle. Like
Yeah.
I have musical notes on my feet. I have musical notes on my arm. Like, but when he passed, it took me like 7 years for me to actually start listening to music again. And when I hear that group, that artist sing, I kind of like, oh, change the music real quick because it sounds like him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's tough.
Do you still change the music?
Sometimes I do, or I just skip it. I'm like, not today, not today.
But sometimes do you listen?
No,
No?
no. I tried to one time to be brave, maybe like 2 months ago
Mm-hmm.
around my birthday. Yeah, around my birthday time because every birthday they never failed to call me. It was like they were all playing a game to see who called me first. It was always my grandpa though. My grandpa was always the first one to call me, and I try to listen to the music, but I just can't.
That's okay.
Yeah, and he loved wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a tattoo of a wolf on my forearm.
I love that.
Yeah, I think my whole family got the same one, but mine has a little bit more detail to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. And the same girl who tattooed me tattooed all of them.
Oh, yeah?
It's pretty funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like they were pretty special people.
Yeah. Really. Sucks. I had my wedding last year and it didn't go as planned. I was like, my grandpa's going to walk me down the aisle. My uncle's going to be the DJ at my party. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
work out like that. But I knew they were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's hard in those things, like, right? Some of us can know that people are with us spiritually, but it can also still suck at the same time that they're not there physically, you know? Because there's times where, like, I know when Ken's with me, but I might be like, I feel like sometimes if I don't say specifically, like, I wish you were here physically with me, then somebody will be like, they're with you. And I'm like, can you
Yeah.
just not? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And I get kind of frustrated sometimes when I'm like, I don't really feel like I need to specify that every single time I say that I miss him. Like, I miss him physically. Like, do you want me to say, like, I miss him spiritually? Do you want, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But,
I know the day that I felt my uncle's presence the strongest was the day I passed my motorcycle skills test,
hmm,
because that was something him and I were supposed to do. He was gonna teach me how to ride a motorcycle.
that was recently,
A couple,
right?
yeah, it was a couple years ago, and I didn't trust anybody to teach me, right? But my husband, he's actually a really good driver, so he taught me, and we went to, you know, do those motorcycle courses, and I passed them. And I remember that feeling that I got. It was like a very sweet, like I cried, but it wasn't like
Hmm,
sad. I was like happy because I felt he was there, like he was proud of me because he knew that the person who taught me did well. And I
hmm,
tell my husband all the time, I was like, you and my uncle would get along so well because they have so much in common.
hmm.
And it's I don't know. It makes me sad sometimes because I'm like, you guys could have done this, or I know he'd be so happy, proud of me right now. Like, just so many things, so many things that we look forward to that he always believed in me, like I said, not to talk bad about my mom, but she wasn't always the best person in my life. And her brother, my uncle, tried to adopt me, and he always looked out for me since I was a little girl.
Hmm.
Like, there's pictures when I was like a little 2, 3 year old, and I was always there. Even when he had his kids, he always never treated me different. Like, he always made me feel special, and seen and understood. Like, no matter what, even when I was a teenager, my mom would always be like, "Oh, you don't know her. She's doing this, this, and that." He's like, "No, that's not who she is. This is not, I don't believe you." Like, he saw me for who I was, and he understood me. So we would always talk about my future. And even though I started a little late because I was a mom for a long time, I know that he'd be really proud of me.
Hmm.
Yeah. Including like public speaking and stuff, because I'm not like them. I'm more shy, and they're very outspoken people. Like,
Hmm.
they were always like the center of the attention, and I was always in the background just trying to
In the
hide.
back.
Yeah.
So they're probably like, see, we always knew you had it in you.
Yeah.
It's in your blood.
Because I was always hanging around with them, but I was always an introvert.
Yeah.
But they would always be like, come on, come on. Like, I would only act like that around them.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm
So maybe
very,
that's a little bit of them living through you, like living through you.
yeah, yeah. I do miss them though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like one of my boys looks like my cousin Tony, and then like my 6 year old daughter looks like Angelica a little bit.
Yeah.
Our genes are pretty strong, so
Hmm.
yeah,
Catch little glimpses of them.
yeah. My older brother looks like my uncle a lot, especially now that he's getting older.
Hmm.
He's starting to look like my uncle did the age that he passed, so it's a little scary too. I get a little emotional whenever I see my brother. Like,
Hmm.
for my wedding, I was like, okay, my uncle might not be here, but it kind of feels like he is because you just look kind of like him.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
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 Is there anything else you want to share about what you have going on now or different things with grief and how that plays a part in your life?
Um, well, now I think I handled it differently. Like I said, I'm sober now.
Mm-hmm.
I am in a better headspace. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I go to church. I have a relationship with God. I pray a lot. You know, I started journaling whatever thoughts or things I want my loved ones to hear. I just write it down. Um, yeah,
Yeah, those are all great tools. I wish I would journal more. It's so helpful.
it is. I my hand gets tired. Sometimes I'll just put it on my phone on them Samsung notes.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
lot easier just
yeah.
talking to
To
my
just
phone.
talk into it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I swear there's something therapeutic about putting pen to paper, man.
Yeah.
There really is. And every time I get myself to go do it, I'm always like so grateful that I did it. And I'm like, this is
Yeah.
why I should do it more.
Feels a lot better.
Yeah.
And obviously knowing that you don't go through it alone, a lot of people are going through something, you know, and sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
sharing or you listening can help someone, you know, like I shared earlier, you know, I have family members who are still grieving
Yeah.
and it's been a long time, you know.
Well, I don't think I don't think grief ends,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it all depends on situations, but I believe it is one of those things that can go on for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Now,
I try to get a tattoo every year to remember them, but I'm like, that's my way of dealing with grief.
no, really though, run out of space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
Thanks for having me.
It was really great to hear your story and get to know pieces of you and your family and
Thank you.
all of that. So
I'm glad I didn't break down like I normally do. That means I'm healed a little bit.
it comes in waves, right?
Yeah. I'm probably gonna go home and cry.
You're like, I'm not breaking down right now, but maybe later. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, and if you guys felt like her story resonated with you, Naniece is going to be joining us again next week. We are going to do some grief deck pulls. We're going to be featuring Dr. Karen's grief deck on our segment next week. So hopefully we will see you guys next week for that as well. And again, Naniece, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.